Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We just concluded Misra Jathi Thalam 10-beat cycle in the last episode. Today I'm going to start off with Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam, which is one beat extra than Misra Jathi Thalam. So I'm going to teach you how to adapt from that to this in a very simplistic way. Whatever we had seen in Misra Jampa, we are going to adapt it to Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. That's another art of technique of learning how to quickly shift from 10 to 11. This is very useful because when you're playing Adi Thalam, and if you want to play Kanda Jathi Triputa Thalam, it's very easy. Actually, if you look, because it's a shift is from 8 to 9. When you want to make a shift from 8 to 9, so all you need to do is give one more beat of korvais in between so that it gets adapted to the 9-beat cycle. So that's an art of how to adapt and manipulate one specific thing, one format to the other format. Similarly, you can also do for 8, you can reduce it to 7, which is Misra Chapathalam. So from Adi Thalam, you can also customize it to Misra Chapathalam, you can also customize it to Kanda Jathi Triputa Thalam. Likewise, if whatever you play for Misra Chapathalam, you can customize for Rupaka Thalam, which is 6 beats. And also you can try to customize it in Tisara Nadai. Like Adi Thalam Tisara Nadai, you can use it and then try to formulate it. These are all the ideas which you need to pick up as you go along, because the vocabularies are going to grow larger and larger. And relationally, if you keep learning this, it's very useful, as I constantly used to say. So before I get into the class, I will start the class with the Tirukkural. This Tirukkural, Thiruvalluvar deals with a topic called Kollame. Kollame meaning like you should not kill any of the human living beings. It's the topic about, he has dealt with 10 stanzas. We will go through that, what are the good thoughts, and with imbibing these good thoughts, we'll get into the class. Aravinai yadanil Kollame koral piravinai ellam tharum. What is the meaning of it? Arachayal yadu என்றால் எந்த ஓர் உயிரையும் கொல்லாத செயலே. So what is wisdom? What is a good discipline? Is you should not do harm to any other living being. அவ்வாறு கொல்லுதல் பிற தீவினைகளை எல்லாம் தானே கொண்டு வரும். If you get into this act of killing some human being, lot of bad things will obviously follow you. That's what Thiruvalluvar states in this Tirukkural. With this good thought, we will enter into the class. Today, we are going to see interesting korvais and Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. So before I get into the class and the korvais, which are normal you're going to learn, but I want to table a few facts. My master, when I was learning from Palgaj Sri R. Raghu, he mentioned one of the anecdotes. I remember when I am dealing with this Thala, Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. So he said in Bombay, when he was wanted to accompany for KVN, and there was a solo was given in Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam Tisara Nadai. So he was told only on that day of the concert. So immediately he's such a BA honors in mathematics. And he only quickly thought what he is going to do for Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam and the two in Tisara Nadai, what we are going to do. And when he calculated, so Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam is 11 into 4, 44. Tisara Nadai is, for every 4 you have to play 6, so it's 11 into 6, 66. So he has to do something in 66. So what he thought of is, 64 quickly he related Adithalam. 64 is closest to 66. And he played variety of Adithala korvais in Misra Jathi Triputa Tisharanadai. After Renditali, after two matras, he played so many varieties, and he got applause for his stupendous playing. So what I'm trying to say here is, it's not that you need to get scared about any complex thala when you have to deal with it as you move along this journey, when you have to play for Pallavi or something. All you need to do is you have to think about it and see how you can adapt quickly whatever you know into this learning. So in this case, Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam Tisharanadai becomes so simple, like using Adi Thalam itself, which is a 64 by giving after two matras he was able to play the entire solo in grandiose. So that's one of the point I wanted to table here. The second point I want to table here is 10 is closest to 11. Misra Jathi Jampai is closest to 11. So if you whatever the korvai you are playing in 10, if you are not planned before a Misra Triputai, all you have to do is increase that by one beat. So how you can do that? On the spot, if you are very clear about your Misra Jampai korvais, few of the korvais, you can easily play and adapt it to Misra Jathi Triputa. I'm not going to teach you that. You've got something else to teach you, but I will just give you an example. Tadita, tadikita tantita, tadikita tanta, tadikita 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 tanta. This is Misra Jampai. So now you got to showcase the same thing in Misra Triputa, but you do not know any korvai. All you need to do is tadikita 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 tanta. Towards the end, if you can give a korvai of two gaps, it will become one beat. 2 syllables and 2 syllables, 4 syllables. 4 syllables make a beat. That's one pulse. So, if you can actually do that, then it becomes a korvai for Misra Jathi Triputa Thala. Let's see that. Tadita, tadikita tantita, tadikita tanta, tadikita tanta, tadikita tanta, tadikita tanta. Straight conversion. Again, takadinatam, takadinatam, takadina, tadikita 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 tanta. This is a very simple Misra Jathi Champathalam. So what the karvai in the backside is tadikitatum, tadikitatum, tadikitatum. There's one karvai there. If you can make it 3-3 by increasing additional 2 here and additional 2 here. So instead of one karvai, if you can give 3 and 3, you're increasing from 2 to 6, which is a difference of 4, which is you're increasing by one beat, which fits in for Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. Takadinata, takadinata. Takadina tadiketa tantam, tadiketa tantam, tadiketa tantam. This is the knowledge you should try to develop. This is one such example. You can do all these examples at your as homework. How to adapt a Misra Champathalam into a Adi Thalam. How to adapt Adi Thalam to Ganda Jathi Triputa Thalam. How to adapt a Ganda Jathi Triputa Thalam to Misra Champathalam. How to adapt a Misra Champathalam to Misra Triputa Thalam. It's an increasing order. Same wise you can reduce how to adapt from 7 to 6, from 6 to 5, which is from Tisram to Gandam, from Gandam to Chatusram, Chatusram to again Tisram. How you can actually move around your puzzle pieces. Again, I always call this learning of Laya as puzzle pieces, exchanging of puzzle pieces, making different dimensions, giving different shapes of Laya shapes. So this you should learn. This is one of the things. So with these ideas we'll get into the class. The first korvai for the first section, Takadanadam, Takadanadam, Takadana. We saw also in Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam, you can split it as Tadinna, Tadindinna, Takadinna, Tatadindinna, Dindinna, Takadanadam, 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 Dinna, Takadanadam, 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 Dinna, Takadanadam, Takadanadam, Dindinna, Takadanadam, Takadanadam, Takadanadam. There, after that, you can play a Tirmanam. I've told you many varieties of reductions as well. So 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. We saw that pattern, and then playing your phrase. We saw some, if you go back to the level 3, I've taught you some varieties of how to go about playing these sequences in a progressive manner, how to split it as combos of 7 and then 4 split, and also making of 3 units. Din kit taka din din na din din da ta din din na ta ta kit taka din din na ta 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 ta. You can play in that format. So you can go back and refer to the notes, earlier notes, how to go about playing a sequence. After you play a particular format of sequence, after you go through this same process, the way you have selected it, you go in the same direction. And after you reduce, before playing the Tirvanam, the korvai what you can play here is, I'll teach you. Taddi takadina tong tadikitatum. This is the base phrase. I'm taking that phrase and I'm using the reduction methodology, and then we will fit in the backfill, we'll do the backfill and make a korvai for Misra, Jathi, Triputa, Thalam. Taddi takadina tong tadikitatum 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 dina tong tadikitatum tong tadikitatum ta tum tadikitatum ta ta tum tadikitatum ta ta tum tadikitatum ta. That's how it's structured. And repeat. Taddi takadina tong tadikitatum 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 dina tong tadikitatum tong tadikitatum takitatum tadikitatum ta takitatum tadikitatum ta takitatum tadikitatum ta. That's how it's structured. So sequential reduction, and then you see the total mathematics. The total count is 132 aksharas, because for, if you look at the first 11 into 4 is 44. 44 when you multiply 3 times, it's 132. So it comes for 3 avardhanas. Visheshama idhila enna, you can do anything which comes for 3 avardhanas. You can do it as Tisara Nadai. Because 132 is how to find out, again, it's a mathematical principle. If you add the numbers of your total and if it's divisible by 3, you can do a Tisranadai. So 1 plus 3 plus 2, 132 aksharas, if you add it, it's 6. So it's divisible by 3. So when it's divisible by 3, it comes to what? 132 by 4, 44. So it comes for 44 beats. So 44 is nothing but 4 avardhanas. So that's how it comes in Tisranadai. So I will deal with Tisranadai later, because that's a topic which is one of its now advanced lessons in level 5. I will deal with it separately, but have it in mind that Tisranadai is a terminology which we are going to deal with it later. So the idea, the korvai goes like this. That's the first korvai. So again, the variety of what you can use is taddi takadina takadana tong tadikitatum taddi takadina takadana tong tadikitatum. All those extensions you can use. All the tadikitatum can be converted to a sul, an advanced sul. Taddi takadatum kadadagatarikadatum taddi tadikadatum kadadagatadikadatum. All those things you can. Nandarikadikadatum. All those varieties of 5 you can fill it up. Again, takitatum takitakadum ta takitatum takitakadum ta takitatum tatikitatum ta. Towards the end, what we are doing is 10, 10, 10. We are equally spacing. You can actually tadikitatum ta tatadikitatum ta taditadikitatum ta. So 8, 10, and 12 we can make a midpoint shift. Instead of making it constant as 10, 10, 10. You can make it as a midpoint shift, 8, 10, and 12. 10 is a midpoint, so when you average it out, it's 10. So that's another way of doing it. So that's the first korvai. The second korvai I'm going to teach you is progression. Again, gobucheti. We will stakadimi tadikita tamtha. It comes from there and it goes all the way to 1. Takadimi tadikita tamtha until tatam. You have to reach, and then tadikita tamtha, tadikita tamtha, tad is the backfill. Let's see how it comes. Takadimi tadikita tamtha, takita tadikita tamtha, tadikita tamtha, tadikita tamtha, tadikita tamtha, takadimita, takita tam. Tam tatam ta di keta tanda ta di keta tanda ta di keta tanda. So you can actually do a variety here. You also go from tatam until all the way to takadimi tadiketa tanda ta di keta tanda ta di keta tanda ta di keta tanda. That is the korvai here. So it's a good, it's a memory skill, the korvai, concentration, memory development, because it's more complex. You have to put Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. You should also remember the mathematics, the mathematical reduction. You should also remember the backside, backfill. So that's an exercise for you, mental exercise for you. That's why I framed it like this. This will strengthen your thala, your expression, and concentration. Okay. The korvai number 3 is more to do with a trikala phrase. Takadina, takadina, takadana. I'm going to use that phrase. I'm going to use that phrase and then we will try to attempt this korvai. Takadina, takadina, takadana, takadina, takadina, takadana, takadina, takadina, takadana, di, ki, ta. Tung ta dingan natum tadikita 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 tanta. So it's a trikal phrase, 3 times repeat with a 2-syllable gap, and the later is which comes to 12 beats. The last 10 beats is ta kati ki kita kdung tadingan natum tadikita tum tadikita tum tadikita tum. Well structured korvai, very easy to remember, and you can play this. Another important thing is you can also do a reverse. It's more aesthetic, but I would recommend for the beginners not to try this until you become completely proficient in showcasing your basic understanding first nicely, and later when you are completely on top of rhythm, you can go and attempt all these reverse engineerings. Okay, that is the first korvai, the 3 varieties I wanted to table it. The next korvai I'm going to use with the pattern takadanadam takadanadam takadana. Let's use this takadanadam takadanadam takadana, which is as a part of a sequence. We will do with 4 korvais, we will do with 2 korvais, we will do without a korvai, and see how the backfill goes. First, the first korvai I'm going to attempt with 4 korvais, and then let's see what the backfill is. Okay, the backfill goes like this: ta di ki ta dung ta dikita tum ta dikita tum ta dung ta dikita tum ta dung ta dikita tum. That's the backfill. Let's see how the korvai comes now. Takadanadam 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 ta di ki ta dung ta dingen na tum ta dikita tum ta dung ta dikita tum ta dung ta dikita tum takadanadam 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 ta di ki ta dung ta dingen na tum ta dikita tum ta dung ta dikita tum ta dung ta dikita tum ta. That's how it's structured. That's the first korvai. First variety using Tagadanadam, Tagadanadam, Tagadana and a 4 gap. Now let's look at the same korvai with a 2 gap. The later half becomes ta, di, ki, ta, dung, ta, ding, natum, tadikitatum, 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 tadikitatum. Here the beauty is because it's Misra Jathi, Triputa Thalam, I am using the backfill of tadikitatum, tadikitatum, 515, 11. I am using a phrase of 11 syllabled phrase towards the end. It's more special here using the phrase tadikitatum, tadikitatum. Let's see how it goes. Tagadanadam, 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 ta, di, ti, ta, tum, ta, ding, na, tum, tadikitatum, 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 tadikitatum. Towards the end, the phrase is very deceptive. Tadikitatum, 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 tadikitatum. The whole group is 515, 515, 515, and that's the split you have to look at it. When you are demarcating it, it's like a sari border. You have to show those phrases separately. Tadikitatum, 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 tadikitatum. When you stress there, it very clearly makes visible in your presentation that you are doing that phrase. Otherwise, when you're without a modulation, if you try to do tadikitatum, 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 if you don't give any modulation, udhartam, anudhartam, swaridam, those are the key aspects in Veda. If you miss that, the reciting Veda is of no use. So you have to use it, chant it. As you chant the Veda, you have to express Mridangam Sanna Sol, Sundar Chollisai, Konnakol, what you call in the normal colloquial term Konnakol. This expression of language, Laya percussion language, is so very important for you to showcase your skill brilliantly. So that is the key here. So that's the point I want to table here. That's the stress you have to make, that those segments or segmentations are unique by itself. Let's look at the third korvai in this sequence, which is without a karvai. The pinmakadam goes like this: taga, digi, kigi, taga, dum, tag, ti, ki, ta, dung, ta, dikitatum, taga, di, ta, di, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta. That's how it's structured. Let's see how it goes without the karvai. Tagadanadam, 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 di, ki, ta, dhum, ta, di, ki, ta, dhum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta. Again I'll repeat. Tagadanadam, 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 di, ki, ta, dhum, ta, di, ki, ta, tum, ta, ding, na, tum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta, dikitatum, ta. That's the variety number 3, using Tagadanadam, Tagadanadam, Tagadana, the karvai decreasing systemically from 4 to 4, 2 and 0. The back part shifts, the phrase gets shifted accordingly. The third korvai in this sequence is, again, it's very interesting sequence. I am adapting using Misra Jathi Thalam. We will see how it goes. Tatak dhinda thang is the phrase I am using. I am going all the way up to thang, and then we are using the backfill. Let's see how it goes. Tatakadinatong, tatakadinatong, takadinatong, takadinatong, takitatong, takitatong, takatong, takatong, tatong, tatong, tong, tong, tadhiketatanta, tadhiketatanta, tadhiketatanta. So that is using tatakadinatong. Now, if you increase this tang to 4, the back phrase gets reduced. Let's see what happens. Tatakadinataga, tatakadinataga, takadinataga, takadinataga, takitataga, takitataga, takataga, takataga, tataga, tataga, tadhiketatan, tadhiketatan, tadhiketatan. That's the second phrase. The third one, when you increase the korvai from 4 to 2, let us see what happens. Tatakadinatam, tatakadinatam, takadinatam, takadinatam, takitatam, takitatam, takatam, takatam, tatam, tatam, tam, tam, tadi, ketatanta, di, tadi, ketatanta, di, tadi, ketatanta. So that's how these three structures are happening. So to come back, let's do one by one and we'll complete it. I will demonstrate you how to go about it, and then you can follow the same thing. Those are the three varieties using tatakadinatang, tatakadinatang. 2 times repeat. Tatakadinataga, tatakadinata, tatakadinatam, tatakadinatam. We did it with iterative of 2 times repetition. We can also use it with only 1 time. You can see this can be a homework. You can also repeat it 3 times and you can do it as a homework. So those are the things, these are the different ideas I want to table it to you. I will take more korvais and more ideas. This is more for giving you more ideas, and that's the very purpose of taking all these complex salas. As I told you before, these are all not more prevalent or not more frequently played, but this comes in handy when you have to showcase some very complex RTPs or any big sabhas where you want to showcase the talent. It will be very, very useful for, or any competitions you can use and showcase your skills. I'll conclude this class with the Thirukural. I'll see you in the next class. Paguttu undu palluyur ombudal noolur toguttavattul ellam thalai. What is the meaning of it? Kidaithadai paguttu koduthu. Whatever you have, you divide and give it to everybody. Thanum undu pala uyirgaleyum kaappattudal. You also have it and also do dharma by sharing it to the other people and saving them. Aranulur Tuguttu Kuri Arangal Ellavatrkum Thalayaya Aramahum. It is compared by Thiruvalluvar. Whatever the works done by wisest people, it stands on the top of the ranking, whatever they are done. And that's the comparison Thiruvalluvar makes in this Thirukural. I'll see you in the next class with more korvais in Misra Jathi, Triputa, Thalam. Until then, Pono RVA signing off. Episode 1, Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam, Korvai 1, Mathematical Understanding, total count of 132 aksharas. Interpretation of Korvai goes like this. Taditakadina takadina tong, tadikitatum ditakadina takadina tong, tadikitatun takadina takadina tong,
Tadikitatum takataka dinatong. Tadikitatum takadinatong. Tadikitatum dinatong. Tadikitatum tong. Tadikitatum takitadum. Tadikitatum ta takitadum. Tadikitatum ta takitadum. Tadikitatum ta. Episode 1 Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam Core by 2 Mathematical Understanding Total count of 88 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Tagadanadam, tagadanadam, tagadanadam. Tagadanadam, tagadanadam, tagadanadam. Tagadanadam, tagadanadam, tagadanadam. Ta di ki ta dung. Ta di ki ta tum. Ta di ki ta tum ta dung. Ta di ki ta tum ta dung. Ta di ki ta tum ta. Episode 1 Misra Jathi Thalam Core by 3 Mathematical Understanding Total count of 88 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Tatakadinatong, tatakadinatong, takadinatong, takadinatong, takitatong, takitatong, takatong, takatong, tatong, tatong, tong, tong, tadikitatonta, tadikitatonta, tadikitatonta.
Mm-hmm.